Hey guys, thanks so much for being here with me. So again, in the interest of time, I've pre-cleansed, but still, take what resonates and use your own discernment. I hope you're all doing amazing, by the way. So I want to talk about something, and I was kind of sitting with Spirit today, and if you're here, this won't sound crazy to you, right? And kind of having this discussion about, and I've been thinking about and channeling and receiving downloads about the matrix and everything a lot lately. And I know it has to do with everything that's going on a collective level. But Spirit was just saying, stop trying to explain your awakening to people still sleeping. And with that attitude, by the way, you all know Spirit has a sense of humor, okay? And a little sass. So if you've been trying to explain your spiritual awakening to people, then this may be for you. Who look at you like maybe you've actually grown a third eye. Stop. The Spirit wants you to stop. Okay? And I'm feeling a little called out myself here. So, I have definitely been guilty of this in the past and learned my lesson. So, not everyone is meant to understand you. Okay? Some people are just background noise in your movie. And some are in a totally different theater, right? Now, what does it even mean, right? Still sleeping or still asleep. So, just for clarity, Spirit wants me to clarify this. When we say someone is asleep, we're not judging their worth or judging them in general. We're naming their awareness, okay? And this could be a whole nother topic, so I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole here. Because there is a difference between judging someone's journey or where they're at and stating, a fact, someone's awareness, okay? So anywho, sleeping means living on autopilot, maybe believing every thought or everything that they hear is truth. For example, like in the media, or worshiping the system without questioning it, reacting instead of reflecting, needing proof versus trusting intuition. So it doesn't mean that we're better, right? We're just awake. And with awakening comes the need for discernment, especially in conversation. And this is where it's tough because we want to be connected, right? We don't want to be disconnected from everyone, right? From certain things, obviously. But, we want to be able to connect with people, and we want to be able to engage in conversation and all of that. And that can be very difficult once you are awake, living in this world. Now, of course, part of it is that we want to surround ourselves with, of course, other, like-minded people and similar frequencies. And as we awaken, that is what, is attracted to us anyway, right? But let's be real, we live in this world. You're going to encounter all sorts of people, right? It's part of the experience. So trying to explain your awakening to someone who is still asleep is kind of like trying to describe color to someone who's never even seen light, right? They might argue or mock you or think you're crazy because the language of awakening is felt long before it's understood. And you didn't awaken through words alone, right? You awakened through your own experiences. And until someone feels that shift for themselves, your words will just kind of hit a wall, right? You're talking to a wall. So, here's kind of what I've learned to do instead, speak in frequencies, not facts. So sharing how you feel, not just what you know, because in our community, right, when we go off of our intuition and our downloads, and we know this to be truth. We are asking for truth, we're receiving truth, right? And that's what we're here to live. But for others, they may see it as coming from you, though, that's your opinion, or etc. So sharing it how you feel versus stating it as a fact, or that this, kind of just something as simple as, I don't vibe with that anymore, says a lot more than giving someone this 10-minute rant or lecture about energy. And like I said, I've been guilty of this myself, okay? Because you so badly want to help, right? So release the need to be understood. That is key. Release the need to be understood. And that's not always easy, okay? You're not here to convince anyone. You're here to live the truth. And when people are ready, your energy will be the invitation. And like I said, surrounding ourselves, who we surround ourselves with matters. So find your soul fam, not your old fam, okay? You don't have to cut everyone off, but don't expect to be fed in starving soil. Create new circles where your growth is nourished. Set energetic boundaries. You can love people and limit access. You can say less. You can change the topic, or simply smile and sip your tea or coffee or tequila, whatever you prefer. Because trying to prove it is a trap, and a trauma response oftentimes, because you're still seeking this validation from people, and many times it's people you've already outgrown, right? But you so badly want to take them with you, don't you? You might even pack their bags for them, right? It's not your job anymore. It never was, you thought it was. But your job is to stay in alignment, not win someone else's approval, no matter who it is. So that moment that you stop trying to explain yourself, you kind of reclaim your energy. You stop leaking power through some forced understanding. And that's when you actually become magnetic. You don't have to shrink. You just have to stop speaking to sleeping minds in awakened language. They don't speak your language. Let that sink in. They don't speak your language. They'll either wake up or fade out. It's a sad truth. So the channeled message here from Spirit is, the ones who see you will feel you before they understand you. Let your light confuse the asleep. It's not for them to decode. It's for you to embody. Some affirmations for you. I no longer seek validation from the unconscious. I walk in truth, not explanation. My frequency speaks louder than words. I am awake and I am free. Thank you, Spirit. Sending you light, love, and healing, and I hope this helped.